There is another collective that ensues, so we're going to jump into that space and into that place here for each and every one of you. Balance. Everything is being brought into balance, but also here they're telling me that there's an alliance that's near. Okay? Everything's being brought to balance, but there's some type of alliance here too that's going on. Some of you may be feeling as if it's spirit, or as if somebody's coming in to work with you or to do X, Y, and Z, building co-creation in your new reality. Okay, that the universe is supporting here is what they're giving to me. So you're climbing the ladder too in frequency. Okay, so you're climbing the ladder too in frequency. Okay, and what you have the adaptability to do. So like what you physically, humanly, emotionally, and spiritually have the adaptability to do is the best way that I can speak that into existence here with what they're saying. And this is one of the reasons that Libra imbalance is now coming out to play. Okay, you're raising in frequency. The number 7 is here on balance with Libra, and what they showed me originally is that the mind is extraterrestrial because it can go outside of this terrain. So your mind is connected to the divine source, spirit, right? The heart-centeredness, okay? Your heart's fully connected to source, to spirit, and to thyself, okay? Now, your root is very grounded and connected to Gaia, okay? So you came from spirit, you'll return to spirit, you are spirit in body. So that's the grounded sense of nature that's coming here. But the soul, there's a piece of the soul in which you're restoring. And a piece of that soul in which you're restoring right now, going back into the past and retro seeking and retro speaking. And this is why so many are in this split sense, because they're healing the most pertinent point of their soul, which is their childhood wound. And that's the Chiron, that's the wounded warrior. And you're going all the way back to the very first time, in a sense that you were taught not to trust yourself or taught not to believe in yourself, okay? And that's what's coming up to the surface right now. But through healing that piece inside of you, it's like things become more awake or more apparent, and the soul and the adaptability to co-create and the adaptability to understand the two pieces of you that are coming back through the surface in entirety. Okay, everything has to come to balance. So you have to come to balance in order to receive the blessings. Gaia, it's been ripped away. The time-space continuum, in a sense, they said, was ripped away. So the blanket of time, right, where the energy could not flow, where you could not be in receiving. So Gaia is coming into balance in the masculine and female energy. You have to come into balance within thyself in order to receive what that alchemy, what that timeline is, what that quantum leap is for you to be in the timeline of your destiny. Earlier today, the symbiosis came out, so things are in symbiosis. Things are in sync for you right now to stay in alignment. A lot of you are like, yeah, right, I feel like crap. How is this alignment, right? Well, it's the regression of going all the way back into your mind and figuring out when that belief was pulled away from the inner child, okay? The 4th house, Mars, the inner child wound, it's where you are emotionally healing right now, okay? That's the Chiron. Everything's being brought into balance, right? The mistrust of people, the mistrust of the self, the way that you've allowed guilt to hold yourself back, anything in retrospect is now coming back up into the process. Everything is being balanced. When you're on the other side of that balance, okay, that's when you're able to see the construct. Too many of you are thinking too much. You're thinking too much, okay? There's a lot of thinking that's going on. All right, so let's see here. Let's see what the challenge is. We're just reading some of the overall energy. We're going to dig deeper. Yes, submit. So you're having to submit to the process of figuring everything out. Think about it. The spirit, the little kid that hasn't been here before, the spirit inside of you, the little kid that hasn't been here before. They want to understand everything. They want to figure it all out. They want to know why. They want to know how to do all of it, right? It's the submission to trust. It's the submission to belief in what you're going through. There's always reasoning behind what you're doing. Nothing is mistaken because nothing can be forsaken, is what was just said. Okay? So that's the overall energy, the submission, the balance, Piscean energy, a lot of feminine energy. Whether you are male or female, there's a lot of feminine energy, a lot of creation that's coming up to the surface because there's a lot of things that were a part of your dreams, were a part of your passions as a child that you are now combining into this timeline. So it's becoming symbiosis within you to become physically symbiosis outside of you for it to reflect you. But if Gaia didn't have the availability to reflect you, then nobody could receive, right? Because of that in which was not allowing the energy of Gaia to flow. So now the energy that's coming in to co-create, to be adaptable, for it to be more easy for you to receive, or doors are more open, or whatever that is for you in your paradigm and how it's coming through, is where you are at a point in time where it's easier. You see how you're in alignment. It's not just a feeling any longer. It's where things are physically showing up to you and going, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. You were shown those things. So now you're in the timeline of receiving, right? Okay. What's the challenge here right now? What is the challenge right now for the collective that's here with me right now? What is the challenge here, Spirit? What did I say about the inner child? You cannot make this up. The Six of Cups, being in harmony and balance with the adult version of thyself, but allowing the childlike ability of believing and seeing and understanding and connecting with spirit and being free is literally what's connecting to thee. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune, it's karma, the cycles had to end, and this is the last cycle for you to be in this space to begin anew. The challenge is connecting to the deepest layer of the soul of you. This is what I mean. Everybody comes to me and they're like, oh, well, I love to help people and I want to heal people. Everybody's a healer. Everybody is. We all are. Now, it's freaking beautiful. I love the desire and the want to help somebody else go through spaces and places that you went through, right? Or to help somebody along their path and whatever that is. Whatever, even in the 3D world, it doesn't matter, okay? But we all know that you're here for something different, for something bigger. It's going to connect to the 3D world, but how it connects to the 3D world and how it comes out of you and how it is expressed is what you're connecting to. That's the inner child. But until you heal the inner child Chiron wound, you're not going to know what that is that truly excites you. People are like, what's your passion? I hear, oh, healing people. Great. But let's go deeper. How? How does the Creator come through you to help people heal? And the way that you think it does is nowhere close near the deal. You're figuring out your blueprint, but the way that you think about it in the human construct has to be broken down first so the inner child can heal. Because if you don't break down the human mind, then it's always going to silence the child inside. It's your karma to heal your inner child. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to show up for you. Nobody's going to do the shit. You've already learned that. So it's your job as healers, as wounded warriors, as light workers, as empaths, as all of that, interstellar beings that have come back to heal, to help, to bridge the gap. You gotta figure out what that passion is and how it flows through you in order to give it to the collective to receive the love and abundance back. And the only way you can is by healing the inner child, the magical wound, the belief. Peter Pan had to remember and re-believe in himself and who he was and what he connected to. The same goes for you. And this is why nobody can hide the emotion or what's coming in alignment for them, because it was already written. But you rewrote that contract because there were pieces of that contract that you wanted to give back. Those were the things that weren't necessarily supposed to happen to you, but did anyway. Like, you know how we know when we have our generational karma to like heal and to work through, right? But there are some shits and a lot of shits for a lot of the collective of things that shouldn't really have happened. That was part of the distraction. This is the challenge. To thy own self be true, the Trinity in you. The connection to the cosmos, interstellar. Your mind is extraterrestrial. It can go outside of this train because it can meditate. It can astral travel. It can be in two places at once. It's all the same. Your heart is wide open to receive and to give and to believe and be in heart-centeredness. Your root is grounded in Gaia, knowing that you are a spirit in a body and you are a physical representation of light and source in a body. And it's the child, the soul. How do you create it? How do you create that gift that's going to give back? And in order to do that, you've got to heal through that inner child wound. That's the challenge right now that the collective is facing. The trust and belief. The current energy, once again. The balance to give and receive. The Six of Coins. The Six of Coins, look, it's not balanced yet. It's almost balanced. Okay? It's almost balanced. It's about to drop. It's like healing this last piece and figuring out this last piece here of this child wound over here. It's the karma that you're going through. It's not self-inflicted. It's not self-imposed. It's Mars in retrograde. Okay? This is the current energy being displayed. That's why you can feel it. That's why you can taste it. That's why you can smell it. That's why you can almost touch it. Because it's almost physically pulled through the etherical layer. Okay? It's almost pulled through the etherical layer. All right? What's the overall energy here at play? What's the overall energy at play? Look at that. The overall energy at play is the Ten of Cups. That's why I said you can feel it. You can taste it. You can, you know what I'm saying? Then, yeah, that's funny. Okay. The future here. Then you've got the future position here of what you're going to be in after this turnaround, okay, is what they're telling me. The Ten of Cups. There is wish fulfillment. Look, you're walking through that door like it's that inner child being connected to you and source, all aspects of you and more. Okay? There's that quantum shift that they were talking about earlier that was going through the collective within the 27th. They gave me the date, the 27th, a long time ago, but I didn't know what it was for until it just came out in the collective earlier today. And like I said, I'm trying to get TikTok to let me download that. But right now, we're playing games with each other. All right? Something is close in contact. I need future position here. just for fun. The change. The change. Look, what's your future position? The change. Clarify this. It's going to be the change in like you being gifted something, you being granted something. It's going to be the thing that changes. The Knight of Wands, rediscovering the passion. That pain turned into power, which turned into passion. Okay? That pain turned into power, which turned into passion. So whatever that wound is that is about to change, that you figure out, that's like your that's your first indication, first clue. There's an energy here about this switch, right? It's like boom, there's power, there's passion behind it. Yeah, look, the Queen of Cups comes out, the intuition. You already know that part. That's your future position. The Four of Coins is on the bottom. Look at him. He's like literally gifting something to you. This is not a normal deck where he's got his feet on the ground with the pentacles and he's stable and he won't let go, but he won't receive either. This is being gifted to you. It's being gifted to you because of healing the inner child wound, healing thyself, being in full alignment with thyself. You're going to see the demographic split soon is what was just said to me. You're going to see the demographic split soon is what was just said. Okay? Temperance. This is literally your advice, balancing both of these aspects of you, the inner you, the outer you, the inner earth, the outer earth, the above you, the below you. This is why you've been in healing thy whole self. Everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so tired of healing. Well, yeah, you had to heal the outer you, the inner you, the whole entire you, not just here. You had to heal all etherical layers. You had to heal all timelines and all versions of yourself that couldn't go where you're about to go because things are about to shift and move is what they say. Look, you can't write this shit. I know. What's something they don't see here? I tried to write it. The contract. To me, this is universal law too, because this is the energy behind law, government, this governing law energetically. This is the contract. This is your contract. This is your new contract that you wrote out, that you're speaking in existence. Like at some point in time through your existence, you've spoken about what it is you want to do in some aspect or way of you is what they're saying here. So in that aspect or whatever way that is, that's the new contract that you started bringing back to the surface. Almost as if like you were role playing again. One of the ways that they showed me that a lot of manifestation works is like, remember when you were kids? And you used to sit there and play with Barbie and Ken and your animals and the G.I. Joes and all those action figures and Megatron and the Power Rangers and the Transformers and the McDonald's really cool toys that had like the actual nuggets and the Transformers and shit. You remember when you used to role play with all those guys? And it was literally like Toy Story in your entire home? Okay. When you were playing and you were role playing out things that you knew were going to happen to you. Like, think about that for a minute. Ken always wanted Barbie. Barbie always wanted Ken. The animals, the dream, the this, the that. Okay? But things that you believed in from that inner child space are coming through the seams now. And this is what's going on in this new contract. So, okay. A lot of you wanted land. A lot of you wanted animals. A lot of you just wanted to be free because none of you wanted to be in the confines and constraints of the city anyway. And this is part of the new contract. It's something from your past that you're bringing to the present that you have rewritten, but it's a childhood dream. You got rid of the old contract that you thought it was to be. And this new contract, something you're unaware of, is the new contract that's playing through. Okay? This is the new version of you. The merging of the inner two, the inner you, the outer you, the childhood wound. I want to clarify this King of Swords here. Let's see if we can clarify it and get some details for you guys on more. They don't want me to use that deck. All right. No, I have not thrown the outcome yet. I want to clarify this King of Swords, but we'll get to the outcome here in the position in just a minute. Somebody was asking me that. See, you just want to know. You just got to know the outcome. There's a little kid. Tell me that's not the inner child wanting to know, right? Look. Beautiful. I clarified the king over here. And you've got the high priestess. So, something that you believed in, something that you imagined, something that you're pulling through the seams, the dark into the light. The pain turned to passion, which turned into your power. It's your flower power. The high priestess. And there's no limitation to how you handle it or how you do it, because the new reflection of you knows best on what to do or how to handle it, because it's the adult version that's healed through that process. But it's the inner child that needs to reconnect. The new contract, clarified by the high priestess. It just hasn't come through yet. The high priestess is a representation to me of not being attached to anything. She's not attached to anything because there's no limitations in which she holds herself back from, because there's no constructs holding herself in. Look, she's not boxed in. The only thing she has is the pillars between the universe of universal law, dark and light. That's what those pillars normally represent on the high priestess, of the dark one and the light one. Universal law, dark, light. That's it. But there's nothing bounding her or boxing her completely in. It's the clouds. So there's no limit to how you do that. Right there. Alchemist said it's best. So they threw me a bridge. So we're going to see what the bridge is to reel this in. I hope that makes sense, because they're basically telling me to help you pull this through. In order to do that, it's like this connecting to this. Okay? The Eight of Cups. Walk away from the wounds. Walk away from the wounds. So a lot of people come to me because they don't understand humanly how sometimes things work or connect etherically. I won't give you details, but what I can give you information about, you'll understand and be able to understand what's going on. Okay? Read between the seams with me. All right? So, as people, sometimes we carry guilt wounds. And no, I'm not talking about myself. All right? But in general speaking, I'm trying to give something that occurred, okay, without giving too many details of people, places, and things. All right? So, we all carry different types of guilt wounds, right? And when we work through those spaces, we're like, oh, I feel guilty because of this, or I feel guilty because of that, right? That's surface level to the guilt wound. Because this is where we care too much. Hear me out on this, okay? When we feel guilty about something, okay? At some point in time, the expectation of ourselves to help somebody, or the expectation of somebody else, was placed upon our vessel, our emotional body. When we didn't meet the expectation of self, or we didn't meet the expectation of anybody else, or we couldn't help somebody, or we couldn't save somebody, or we couldn't fix somebody, it guilted us, right? We felt guilt because we cared so much, right? So then what happens is you turn that inward, which is what I call the reverse ego. Most people think of ego as being like big and badass, right? I see it about this big because when you understand it from the reverse aspect, you see how cunning, baffling, and powerful it is, but yet how small it is too. Okay? Now, we guilt ourselves. So then what happens is we guilt ourselves in multiple different ways, in multiple different relationships, so that all we do is try to bring balance to everyone else outside of us, thinking that that's how we're going to feel better, when in fact, we're only hurting ourselves and we're holding others back by doing that. Because we don't want others to feel insecure, or we don't want others to feel stepped on, or we don't want others to feel this way or unwanted or this, that, or the other, because we know what that feels like. So then what do? We make sure that everybody else is okay. Because if we don't ever feel that guilt again, then we'll be okay. But yet, everybody's still slinging shit at us, and we're going, why? Why are we not okay? It doesn't make sense. I've made sure that everything's supposed to be in balance. You are not in balance, so then nothing can be balanced around you. You are the alchemist. You are the light. You are the wounded healer. You are the returner. You are the rainbow warrior. Do I need to say it a multitude of ways? You are the ones, you're the heroes. You came here to save the day. Then, in order to get to that space, you have to it's not caring. Because you care, you're always going to care, but this is where you've used caring too much. The Care Bear stare has been overused and now comes with a glare because you resented at everybody else because of yourself. And how much you give to everybody else, but yet you reflect that to them. It's all part of the guilt and shit. It's loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop again until you understand and break through the construct. You cannot be responsible for how people respond to you or how people feel when you go by what you need. See, you're the alchemist, you're the light, right? So when women start commanding the energy and setting boundaries, and men too, but from the heart-centered of understanding what is going on and the connection of the direction that is brought to you in reflection of what's going on around you, is how you beat that construct. So what you're doing is going, oh crap, she's right. Now what? Well, you have to realize how guilting yourself has also held others back from healing themselves and moving forward. Because you now have made yourself responsible for somebody else's feelings or somebody else's well-being in that way, which you are not. If they are under the age of 18, you are not responsible for them unless they are in your home too. Period. If they are your children and they are underneath your roof, or you have custody, have time, whatever that is, you are responsible for yourself and for them. And if you're not okay, they're not going to be okay. Your energy starts to rise because you're like, I can't emotionally do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is why so many people have left you. This is why so many people can't be around you. So you can remove the process and the shadow of guilt, right? Then also you don't hold anybody else back from their growth. It's a hard pill to swallow. Okay? In that sense, then, you go, oh crap, I'm not responsible for anybody's feelings and I'm not going to feel guilty anymore. This is why I always say, once you know the weight of carrying your own water, you won't waste one single drop. That's your emotions. And you're not going to place them anywhere but thyself. And then everything will be good for everybody else. Everything has to be in balance with the home. And if you continue to guilt yourself, you're holding those around you back because of the guilt that you hold on to in reflection and retrospect. It all comes out etherically, spiritually, humanly, physically, emotionally. Everything is connected. This is why you have to balance the masculine and feminine and the whole self. It's not just the masculine and feminine here. It's not the chakra system here. It's all the different places, pieces, and parts in the timelines to be, in all the things that have happened to thee through all the constructs of paradigm. To come back into balance and harmony with thyself and heal thy whole self, the inner you, the outer you, the above you, the below you, the all around you. It's all about you. It's always been about you, but people have thought it in a completely different way. If you remove the guilt, the Eight of Cups, walking away. It doesn't mean you're walking away from all the people or all the foundations. Sometimes you have to, with all due respect. It's a part of the process, but not always. But it feels that way and it looks that way and it seems that way because the human mind can't understand how it can walk away with its emotions dichotomy but still be okay. You're learning how to go through this process. So the bridge is the Eight of Cups, where you have to walk away about caring so much about other people. Not because you're not supposed to care, but it's the way in which you're caring that's hurting you and not allowing you to have your Care Bear stare because you're guilting the self. Some way across that line, somewhere in due time, you guilted yourself about somebody else or somebody else made you feel guilty, and then you took that personification on that other people's feelings are your responsibility, and then if everybody could be okay around you, you wouldn't feel guilty, you wouldn't feel bad things wouldn't happen. But did that work for you in reality? No. Just made things worse because then you're transmuting their karma and their trauma and and then you can't even figure out thyself. So now this is what you have to walk away from, is the emotional inner child wound where it begun. The very first thing that broke you is the very last thing that you go through. Haven't you learned this game is played backwards? And then everything moves in a completely different paradigm. Did y'all see the eclipse? Like with your own physical eyes, did you see that? Did you see how whatever, I don't even care, we're not going to have the debate, but did you ever see whatever went in front of the moon and then it went like this way? It didn't cross over this way like a normal eclipse would. It like went in front of the moon and then it went boom, right? Energetically speaking, what I saw with my own eyes, that's exactly what I saw. It literally went over the moon and then it wasn't even all the way over it. It just like left all half of it like fucking illuminated and exposed, and then half of it was dark, and I was like, hold on, that's a mind fuck. That's neither here nor there. That's exactly what they're showing me the shift is in the construct. It's like, bam. This, I don't know how to say that any other way, but I think you guys can understand that piece, okay? The Eight of Cups. You're walking away what no longer serves you, but nobody can tell you how it no longer serves you or what no longer serves you, but it has to do with the guilt aspect, the inner child wound, the trust in the belief in thyself, okay? What's the final outcome here for my beautiful fellow people here? What's the beautiful outcome? I love you, Sue. The Three of Pentacles. Look, you're walking into a new door. You're quantum shifting to more. And for a lot of you, it's really, really on the horizon is what they said. They said it's on the horizon, which is telling me that it's on the rise, but it's on the horizon too. Okay? So that's absolutely beautiful. That's the outcome. The collaboration between the inner child, the higher self, and God, Creator, Source, Divine Mother, however you feel comfortable displaying that wording or verbiage to you, how you understand it. Look, and touch you deep down in your soul. Look at the three coming together. Look, you can see it. Look at the child. The child's hiding here. The child is veiled. The child's veiled. Look, this is source. This is spirit in a sense, right? Look at this. And then you're about to walk through that door to fully connect to the quantum shift, the etherical and more is what was just said. I just want one more for fun, just for look. Open mouth, insert foot. Be careful in this new reality, okay? Because you are speaking everything into existence and it's coming very easily and very quickly. The Three of Cups just came out. I said, I just want one more confirmation, right? The threes have been off the chain, stir. So is the twos. The twos and the threes and the threes and the twos. The balance, the fullest balance of you. It's so beautiful, man. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to jump into a few healings and a few readings. If you guys would like a psychic reading, it's $35.55 today. If you guys would like a channel message and some quantum healing, it's $47.77. If you guys would like an Akashic Records past life reading and healing, okay, it's $66.66. I'm going to start and do this and offer this through my website, but as a complete hypnosis space, going into the quantum and the etherical too, to heal those places and spaces of your soul that those things have been through. So we're going to take this quantumly, all right? And we're going to heal all aspects of you, all pieces and parts of your soul, help you work through those things to help you understand you better, all right? So those are the things that are coming up here real soon for me and my paradigm and the business aspect of things. So, of course, we will put out as much video that we can and so on and so forth, and testimonials to those that I have done cases on and stuff like that. So, but we'll go from there. All right. And we're going to start and build this process with you guys. So thank you guys for being here. This big is what I said. And earlier today, the collective message was big, but this was big too. Everything's big right now, right? Everything's quantified is what was just said. So everything's quantified too. So it's a beautiful place to be. All right. There we go. We're going to cleanse this space up and get everything all situated and ready for everybody. Put some things up here. Yeah, those hurt my head too.